Yeah, that was very useful input you guys gave us. Helped us get off on the right foot.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll get started in a few minutes.
I got bit by something a couple nights ago, and it's so swollen.
Oh, wow, that's not good.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Molly Chapman.
Hi, Molly.
This is
Kim
cute.
Zeller.
It was
Nice
on
to
our
meet
phone
you.
call. How about this? You kick this
Great,
off?
yeah, great.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, yes. Nice to see you again. I was gonna say I looked over. I was gonna say I knew you looked familiar. We just spent 2 days together.
We're not going to
The
meet
phone
on the first and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, and I didn't copy Mark,
Great.
so did you guys tell him? I just want to note to everybody it was the meeting, and you weren't there, so you didn't get a copy about changing the meeting from the first and second till later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
I thought of that later. Oh, I didn't even copy Mark on that.
So, Roxy, did you say we're going to go in order of the agenda?
Yep, so you guys are actually gonna go first, Cyrus.
Okay.
and we'll go.
Oh,
So you guys can go first.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Cyrus. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the committee meeting here. So why don't we go around the room as we usually do and introduce ourselves. I think we have some new faces with us today, and we have some guests. So why don't we start over here in the corner?
I'm Beth Owens, I'm from DDS.
I'm Kevin Shaker from Trinity Services.
Deborah Braun, Shore Community Services.
Mark McHugh with Vision Unlimited.
Jackie Stewart and Vision Unlimited.
Marcus Stewart at Vision Unlimited.
Susan Cochran, Claybrook. Sheila Lulow, Claybrook.
Dave Baker, Open Door. Bob Sherman, Opportunity House.
Let's go ahead and finish up back here.
Jesse Meredith, Isaiah.
Lori Randall, DCAP.
Valencia Thompson, Blue Cap.
Tony Vittorio, Blue Cap.
Mary Kay Ambrosino, CTF Illinois. Karen Ivancic, the Global Program Center. Charlotte Hammond, Challenge Elementary.
Jessica Peters, Transitions in
Marcy Kramer from Transitions also.
Lila McGuire, Car Industries in Charlotte.
Andy Kistler, Community Support Systems, Effingham.
Barb Nelson, Community Link.
John Hills Camp Community Land.
Rick Barnhill, Warren Achievement Center.
Mark Rudolph, KCCDE in Galesburg.
Good morning, Mary Miller, Hope Institute.
John Pingo, Golden Clovers.
Corey Delavan, Golden Clover Center.
Ben Storts, Cornerstone Services.
Dan Fitzgerald, Horizon House.
Jim Arstell, Horizon House.
Tom Frederick, Elm City. Greg Shaver from Centralia.
John Lipscomb, Keystone Alliance.
Greg Peterson, Keystone Alliance.
Cyrus Winnett with the association.
Kim Zeller with Ray Graham Association.
Carolyn Cochran, Copel DD.
Molly Chapman, I'm the SST project manager with DD.
Roxy Kaminsky, IARF.
Well, Carolyn and Molly, thank you for joining us today to talk about improving our crisis system here in Illinois. So I'm not sure what you talked about with Roxy, if you have something that you're just going to present, or
Yeah.
what you're planning to do, but go
Well,
for it.
okay, so you've all gotten this little memo that we did. I think we mailed it out to 1,800 people, so hopefully many of you got it, as well as Roxy told us that she sent it out to you, and we have a few copies up here if you haven't seen it. So basically, we're trying to kind of formally seek your input about how to improve the system's response to behavioral crisis. And we kind of have a working definition of behavioral crisis to be that the person's a danger to self or others, but the agency can't stabilize that. And as you know, a person that might seem a behavioral crisis to one agency might not seem a behavioral crisis to another agency. So it's really the person's behavior and the agency's ability to stabilize that behavior that identifies the crisis. And we recognize that this has an impact on the housemates and the staff, as well as the person who's in the behavioral crisis. So it's a big thing for our system to address. And so before, we had SST, we basically only had CART and add-ons to address crisis. And then we started SST, and Molly has a lot of data if you have questions about what SST is doing. But SST serves about 500 or 600 people every month. So SST has been going about 6 years, and that was one of our first kind of systemic responses to helping people with the behavioral crisis. And the next thing we're going to do is implement the short-term stabilization homes. And Envision Unlimited is going to do 2 4-person homes up in the south suburbs, and IAG is going to do 2 4-person homes in the Springfield area. And they're all committed to having at least part of their homes available by September. So hopefully those will be up in September, and they will really be an alternative to state-operated placement, a short-term placement up to 90 days, and their contract exhibits are pretty clear about that. So it's not a long-term treatment. We're not going to fix the person, like none of us are, right? But it's going to try to stabilize the situation that the person's in. And you all know as well as we know that a lot of times the person's behavioral crisis results from some environmental factor, either the roommates, the composition of the home, the structure of the home, people not following the plan explicitly, or whatever. But by the time the person's in a behavioral crisis, they are personally in a behavioral crisis, even if the environmental factors were sort of escalating that behavioral crisis. So they'll go to the SSHs, where the short-term stabilization homes, to deal with the person's behavioral crisis, while SST will continue working with the agency on the modifications needed in that environment for the person to come back and continue to be stabilized after SSH. So that's our next response. So we know that we're going to have 2 homes in this area and 2 homes up in the suburban area. We know that's not enough, but it's a start. We're getting started. And so we also know that there are probably a lot of other systemic things that need to happen for you all to cope as best you can with people's behavior crisis, because that's sort of the nature of what we have to deal with here. People are going to have crisis, and we have to learn to deal with them as a system. And so we put in this paper the recommendations that came out of the Illinois Crisis Prevention Network, which is what SST calls their organization. The Illinois Crisis Prevention Network had several